live on Twitter. Alright. We're live everywhere.
All right. Welcome. This is Jason Randall, and this will be my first solo stream here. So here to go over the markets and talk about a couple of recent events, maybe give you a little bit of feedback on that. And then we'll take a look at the charts and see if we see what this market is looking like. I wanted to talk a little bit about trading in a bear market, and feel free to jump in and say what's up if you want to join me in the chat over here. Anyway, welcome. Again, I'm Jason. I'm the new guy. I don't know if you guys saw me on the other day with Sam, but that was my first time on, and you'll be seeing a bunch more of me this week because the gents will be off working on some additional projects with developers out of the area. So anyway, let's jump right into it here. First thing that I wanted to talk about was Coinbase had some pretty good news recently. They are opening a new VC fund. So the gist of this article is essentially that they're going to be funding blockchain startup projects, and I think that's a good thing for the market overall. Lord knows Coinbase has bundles of money, so certainly, hopefully, they should be able to help push forward some good blockchain projects. They did mention in there that they might even be funding competitors because, similar to many of us, they believe that a rising tide raises all ships. So no particular strategic requirement for formalizing partnerships, as it says here. Primarily, their interest is just pushing forward good projects, and some of that actually is even to competitors that they think might, or should I say, projects that they think might be competitors of theirs. So, interesting output. Not very common in corporate America. Generally, they're trying to cut every competitor's throat. So, pretty good. And then other good news that I thought was interesting with Coinbase is they did say that they're going to start supporting Bitcoin forks, at least withdrawals for supported forked currencies. So I don't know that means they're going to add any additional currencies to their platform, but if they do decide to add them, then they will support withdrawals for the forks. So I think that would have been probably a better move for them to do. In the wake of the Bitcoin Cash fiasco, as we all know, that pumped up to I think about $9,000 before they actually opened up trading on it. So pretty questionable practices, which, as we know, got them some scrutiny from the SEC. Definitely not a good look going forward, and not the best way to get more people interested in the market when you are supporting a potential insider trading situation. So speaking of the SEC, another thing that I was interested in bringing up was great news from the SEC chairman, Jay Clayton. He's softening his stance a little bit from what it seems here, saying ICOs are absolutely not all fraudulent. So that's great news. Especially, I know a lot of people currently have been freaking out, particularly about SEC crackdowns, everything having to go securities tokens. I know that's been a big issue of contention with a lot of different ICOs, especially different ICO projects we're looking into. A lot of the teams that we're noticing are very hyper aware of needing to register a security token. When we were at the Blockchain Unbound conference, I was having a conversation with a lot of people that have helped launch ICOs, and one woman in particular was she was mentioning to me that she thinks that not only are there going to be problems from ICOs that were launched unregistered, but that they're going to start to go back, and she was suspecting that a lot of people are going to wind up in jail for being misadvised, et cetera, et cetera. So as we know, it is kind of a Wild West market these days. and it does change pretty rapidly. So I think it's good that any serious projects now are trying to go the security route and dot their I's and cross their T's, mind their P's and Q's. What's happening, everybody? So let's see. Yeah, I am the new guy at the FNG, original OPO, Captain Jason. All right. Well, I'll take it. Maybe I'll have to get myself a captain's hat and see what's going on. But welcome. Thanks, guys, for joining me today. Feel free to chime in and let me know if there's anything specifically you guys want me to talk about or want me to take a look at. I'll probably do a little bit shorter stream than the usual. I know the guys usually go on for about an hour, but you know, I'm trying to break myself in easy here today, so I may go a little bit shorter than normal, but yeah, whatever you guys. Qcash, all right, Cyber Kenobi, I will take a peek at that. We will be getting into some markets and looking at some charts. Like I said, I specifically wanted to talk today about trading in a bear market, and we have seen some really good opportunities for short-term scalps in the last couple of days. Really, full disclosure, the only thing I have been trading in the last probably 2 weeks is just BTC to fiat. But yeah, we can take a look at that and go from there. What the crud? What's wrong, Jeff? Is it this face? It's a little sketchy. Don't worry, Sam and Snare are still around. I'm just going to be on here a little bit more often. All right, so anyway, getting back into it. I thought a pretty interesting thing that I saw on Twitter was we've had a little bit of Twitter beef, a la East Coast, West Coast versus Vitalik and Justin Sun. Justin Sun had posted, why he thinks Tron is better than ETH, listed out a bunch of different things here, in his defense, and Vitalik took a nice little clap back here, which I thought was pretty humorous. Tron is going over their development languages, how many users, transaction fees, and Vitalik took the opportunity to clap back at him with a Control-C, Control-V, much higher efficiency than typing new content in the white paper. So shots fired on that one. I thought that was pretty humorous myself, given that I do like the Tron project, but personally I have had a little bit of marketing fatigue. I invested in Tron early, but I definitely ended up dumping the majority of it because they continue to announce partnerships, and 9 times out of 10 when I look into who that new partnership is, it's some other company that Justin Sun owns. And I don't like hearing announcements about an announcement to make an announcement. That kind of stuff fatigues me over time, and I can definitely get a little sick of hearing about a project and just 86 it. So let's see here. Let me take a look at some of these. Yeah. Snay in the rubber mask. Yeah, I'm a little pale for Snay. I've been working on my tan, but as you can see, I got a couple of shades to go before I am as melanin gifted as my brother Snay. Let's see. Johnny B. So even if an ICO is not a scam, a token or coin is not a company share, and there's a legal issue with protection for the new investor. I mean, it all depends, right? I mean, there's a lot of different projects now that are going with the dual token structure. So they have the security token, which would indicate that you are buying into the company with the intention of that asset gaining value. But then they've got their utility token that they are utilizing specifically on the platform. Those primarily are not to be traded on the open exchange, and they're only specifically to be used. So I think as long as they are offering a security and going through the registration, etc., I don't have a problem with it personally. I think regulation in the long run is a good thing. I know a lot of people in the crypto market are into the Wild West of it. I know I certainly like the volatility. Like I said, there's a lot of options for picking up gains on short scalps in the volatile market, but I think it is partially what scares a lot of new money out of it, is watching the volatility, because most of the people that I talk to, especially back in December, January, I had a lot of friends that were asking me, because they know I'm a crypto nerd. They were specifically asking me, like, what do you think about this? And, I told them things to look at, but basically within like a month, everybody was like, yeah, I sold it all off. And I think just they didn't have the time to look into learning how to trade, or didn't have the interest to learn how to trade. And I think that's what you're going to get with the majority of new money that comes into the market, unfortunately, is really they're just looking for, people like to buy an Apple stock. They like to buy a Google stock because it generally holds its value pretty firmly, and they can start to, stockpile it and build up their investments. Whereas, sorry, getting derailed reading the chat mid speech there. But, I think most people that are involved in crypto are interested in taking advantages of the trade, or should I say serious crypto people, whereas the casual investor is looking for a place they can just set their money down and not think about it for a while. So yeah, anyway, let's see what else we got here. Snay is the master of illusion. He can change his voice, change his hairdo. It's all the good stuff. Full bodysuit. Oh, good God. All right, gents. All right. Yeah, go ahead and keep them rolling out. Yeah, go ahead and keep rolling out the nicknames. I know. So that's the way that nicknames work, is we don't get to choose them. So I'll see what you guys come up with, and hopefully it's nothing terrible. So let's see what other hot topics before we jump into the charts. Captain Jack. Yeah, I could grow one of those. I'll grow this out and maybe handlebar it up, get some ridiculous eyeliner. Yeah, that might not be me. I'm a little too clean cut for the Johnny Depp look. But yeah, so let's jump into a pretty recent topic. This was something, if you watched Sam and I's stream the other day, we were talking about Verge being up pretty high at a pump, and we had recommended dumping your bags. If you had listened to that, if you had decided that maybe that was the type move, that probably would have been good for your overall bottom line, because I don't know if you guys heard about it, but Verge got hacked pretty badly yesterday, and I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, so I had to look into this a little bit. But it looks like the internet, there's a lot of people that are coders and are miners and really do understand the fundamental coding under the blockchain that didn't really care much for their solution. Basically, they ended up having a 51% mining attack where somebody was mining a block. Let me see what I think it was like every 8 seconds or something like that. Anyway, the short version is Verge's solution was a hard fork, and they didn't even realize that it was a hard fork up front, which I think is going to not instill a lot of confidence into anybody that was still interested in Verge. Yeah, shocking. What is that? Shock all and all? Yeah, sorry if I mispronounced that, but yeah, Verge got wrecked. But again, we've given our opinion on what we think Verge is many times. I certainly fell victim to their sexy black paper when I first got involved in crypto, and I did end up making a little money on a move back when. But the more I looked into it, and the more I realized that it's basically just Bitcoin on a Tor protocol. Nothing proprietary going on there that makes it stand out to me. So yeah. Anyway, I'm all for watching Verge tank at this point, because I dumped my bags. So anyway, hopefully you guys are not getting wrecked in the process. And sexy. All right, sure, why not? Why not? So yeah, anyway, so that's basically the extent of it. Oh, One thing I did want to talk about, we got a pretty sweet new feature rollout. So I know a lot of you guys are active traders, and with that, I would imagine that an indicator that you're using is RSI. We added a sweet new feature to the Cryptosomniac.com site. So if you go over there and take a peek, you'll notice RSI levels. And what that is, RSI, Relative Strength Index, is a good way to measure whether a crypto has been overbought or oversold. So here, I will actually jump over to TradingView right now and show you guys a little bit about what I'm talking about here. Sorry, using the Cryptosomniac one, so you're used to having my TradingView, which is a little bit different looking here, so bear with me a minute, guys. But yeah, so here you can see, here's the RSI right here, and essentially it's going to be at reasonable levels when it's between 30 and 70. 30 is the low, 70 is the high. So you can see it bounce around in there, and that gives you an indication of, like I said, whether it's overbought or oversold. What we've done over on the Cryptosomniac site here is tried to give it color-coded indications on whether it is overbought or oversold, and you can actually sort it. So anything that's in the red is going to be way down in the oversold. So like, let's just take a look at Digix DAO here. I'll jump back over and oops, come on. DGD, so that we can look at this. Whoops. There we go. We'll look on Bittrex. All right, so let me jump over there. And you can see, so I'll have to move between my two, whoops. But you can see here, RSI clear down at 11, and when we jump over here, you can see it is definitely down. Oh, I should also specify, this is, sorry, I'm looking on a 5-minute candle. This is on the daily candle, excuse me, so it averages over the last 14 days on Cryptosomniac. So yeah, they're at 11. You can jump back over here so you can see RSI is super, super low. Generally, whenever the RSI is this low, that's when I'll start looking at other indicators to try to decide if it's a good time to buy myself. Let's see if I'm missing. Do not listen to this guy, dump him and buy Verge. Go ahead and buy Verge, guys. I mean, hey, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your money. I am here to tell you what my opinion on certain things are. I am here to tell you, I'll share what I'm doing with my money. But yeah, feel free, if you guys want to go buy a big bag of Verge, by all means, make your own decisions. But I wouldn't think that would be, that's not what I'm doing with my money. I'll just put it that way. I am not your financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. All I can tell you is what I see on the charts, what I find in researching the markets, and what I think are good plays or not. But, don't take my word for it. I'm just some guy on a YouTube channel that knows how to read a chart. Anyway, yeah, so back to what I was talking about on the site. You can see here, RSI is super low. MACD is going down. Looks like we're about to have a bear cross, so I don't know if this would be a time to get in, but definitely something you want to keep a look at on. And we've tried to make it a little easier for you so you know which coins you might want to go chart when you're looking on the Cryptosomniac price ticker. So you can see any of these are very low, ETH Classic, regular, oh no, sorry, Bitcoin Cash. And then you can also see anything that's overbought. So you'll note that it's color coded. Basically, if it's going to be running between the 30 and 70 range, then it'll show up, between black or light green, or a darker yellow color. And then, as it gets way overbought, like Ontology, obviously Ontology is the hot ticket item right now. Everybody's talking about it, and it's way overbought. So, while we're going to have a full report coming out for our Advantage members on that in the very near future. So if you are a member of the Cryptosomniac Advantage, you will be able to get the full write-up report. If not, now is a good time for me to mention that you can join the Cryptosomniac Advantage and do a trial for free. We are offering a 14-day trial currently. Just go over to cryptosomniac.com, and then if you look right here, you can get into the Cryptosomniac Advantage. 14-day trial. Before, we were just giving you full access to all of the reports and things like that, but we have recently changed it up. I personally think a lot of the value from the Advantage comes from being in the Moon Lounge, which is our active Slack channel. We have 2 full-time TA guys in there that are very, very good. They have helped me significantly sharpen up my TA skills. And plus, it's just good to have a bunch of educated crypto people to be able to bounce your ideas off, etc. So anyway, free sign up for Cryptosomniac Advantage. You get all access to all of the reports and access to the Moon Lounge for 14 days. And then, hopefully you find that there's good value in there and want to stick around and stay part of our community. But anyway. Let me take a look here so I'm not just missing out on what everybody is talking about. Let's see here. DAO Stack ICO. I'll take a look at that. I am not familiar with that one. Shock and law. Verge needs to go down. Dude, I don't think it's going to be long before Verge. I mean, really, I think the only reason that Verge is so popular, they just have a really good community of land bros. You know what I'm talking about. Crypto bros. When moon. That's I was part of the Verge community for a short minute, and I had to leave because I just couldn't take it. There's too much. I can only hear "when moon" so many times before it's humorous to a degree, but at a certain point it's just garbage. And Verge is a pump and dump. I mean, it's definitely been pumped and dumped. The McAfee deal didn't do it any favors. I mean, it did it favors if you wanted to dump some of your shitcoin portfolio, but it coming out that they paid him for that tweet when they were trying to make it seem like it was an organic thing that he found their project was also not really a good look. People don't like a shill. I try to at least disclose when I'm shilling something, or if I hold a coin. I try not to. I try to be as unbiased as possible, but I am human, so obviously I have my biases. But I'll at least try to be as honest as possible and disclose when I do actually hold a coin or etc. I try to be as honest as possible. So let's see what else we got here. Johnny B, thanks. Appreciate that. We think it's a pretty cool feature as well. The color coding should make things pretty easy. So, as you were out there trying to get better at your own technical analysis, hopefully that'll have a little alert on there that can let you know what you ought to go take a look at sooner. All right, so let me scroll up here. I know you guys are interested in the charts, so let's take a look and see if the new guy knows what he's talking about, huh? Let me see here. Zen, Shock and All, is that you talking about Zen Cash, I think? Let's see what we can find here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. I keep typing it like it's going to jump and then it doesn't, so. All right. Well, let's take a look at that. I mean, I never chase a parabolic run personally. This thing has clearly had a nice breakout. That is a massive green candle and it is moving in a bullish direction. That's on the daily. So several days of green action in a row, although we do see higher highs and higher lows. So, I don't know that I would buy into it now. I would keep an eye on it. It looks like it's going in a good direction, but I think really if you wanted to make a move on that, you should have done it, over here a little bit more. Obviously it's hard to take to confirm it until it runs, but you had some pretty nice indicators over here. We had a bullish cross while the RSI was super low, and then you can see this volume increase right here running up. So I mean, this would have been the move. You would have bought in here on the pullback and then taken advantage of this run. But I wouldn't get involved in it right now. Again, my best advice ever is don't chase a run. Once it's gone parabolic, you already missed the bus. Sit and wait for consolidation if you really want to get in on that project. But you know, we do like Zencash, the project overall. ZK Snarks is a pretty good privacy protocol. Still, I think ring signatures are the best in my opinion so far, but ZK Snarks definitely come in a very strong second. So yeah, again, I think you've missed the run right now. I would never FOMO in, but that is a nice cup. So let's see if we see a little cup handle forming after that, and then it might be time to jump back into it. Let's see here, Cyber Kenobi. Do we want me to go on a Ripple rant? Anybody? I'm so willing to go on a Ripple rant, but you know, you've probably heard it all before. Anyway, let's see. Oh, sorry, it's shocking. I thought you were asking me about Zencash. CyberConnect, is that a yes on a Ripple rant? Okay, all right. So again, this is my opinion, but this is my educated opinion. I think Ripple's network is fantastic. It's super fast, but would I buy in? No, hard no. I've made a little bit of money on some swings off Ripple, but do I support Ripple as an overall project? No. It is the XRP token is 100% not necessary or required for the banks to utilize their network. And I want people to understand that is what most people miss, is they keep thinking that XRP is pegged to its use. And granted, you will see the price action swing around a little bit as they make different announcements and things like that. But understand, they do not need the XRP token in order to utilize the Ripple network when transferring funds around. So the more partnerships that they make and the more business development that they do with different banks is not going to necessarily affect the price of the coin, except for in the short term, and it certainly does not increase the value of the token long term, because you don't need to use the token to transfer the money. So I want everybody to understand that. You know, I do think you have a point there, Cyber Kenobi, that it will help probably get some less crypto minded individuals to start to accept it. I do know that when I talk to, you know, just a little bit about myself, I came out of the payroll and HR world. I was outside salesperson for a long time. So in that role, I dealt with a lot of business owners. I dealt with a lot of CPAs. I dealt with a lot of investment advisors. I dealt with a lot of, you know, what you would call professionals. And, you know, as happens, crypto would come up in conversation, especially, you know, back during the all-time highs, etc. And what I can tell you is this: most of the normies, and I use that term so lovingly, but it's most of the normal people that I know that aren't avid crypto people, when they buy into Bitcoin, and then they buy into XRP. So I think it's primarily just because XRP has a really good media coverage. But again, you know, most of the people that get involved in crypto really, I think, initially are just in it for, they're just in it to make some financial gains. Like, let's be honest, man, that's what gets most of us attracted to it. I mean, you know, I'm a little bit of an anarchist when it comes right down to it. I don't like how much control the man has in my life, and I do like some of the way that the blockchain can help put that power back in the hands of the people. But I think realistically, you know, financial gains are what attract us all to this asset in the very beginning, and so as a result of that, I think normal people, when getting into the market, they're going to find out what the biggest names that they see are, and then they're going to buy that token. So like I said, a lot of the a lot of financial advisors that I talk to wouldn't touch crypto at all because they have to disclose what they're investing in, and I guess they didn't want to have the volatile market make them look like they didn't know what they were talking about to their traditional investors. Qcash. To be honest with you, I personally don't know much about Qcash, Cyber Kenobi, so I don't have an informed opinion on that right now. So I will not speak on it because I don't know, but I can look into it. If you think it's something I should have an opinion on, I'm always looking for new projects and things that are interesting. Because my primary motivation is finding out what's actually usable in the market, what has low competition, or what are their key value propositions versus the competition. Those are, I don't know if the XRP token is a scam, but it is certainly completely unnecessary in the bank's use of it. They're not using XRP to transfer their funds back and forth across markets. They are using the network, not the token. So I think that's very important for people to understand. But again, like I said, I think it's going to hold a market position for the time being because they have good marketing. They've got a lot of partnerships that they announce with a lot of big banks, and to people that are not initiated into the crypto space, that's going to sound attractive. ELA. Well, let's see if I can find ELA here. Also, by the way, if you are enjoying the content on this channel, feel free to smash that thumbs up button. There's a thumbs up for the new guy, and hopefully I'm not disappointing anyone so far. I'm not sure I understand your question there, Cyber Kenobi. The use of the XRP token will lower the cost and increase liquidity. Why wouldn't a lower cost method be adopted? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Why wouldn't they adopt XRP? Or why wouldn't they? I don't understand the question. Maybe you could flesh that out a little bit and I will respond. ELA. I'm not seeing it. Well, maybe. How about that? Sorry, whoever asked me for ELA. Not seeing it on TradingView. I don't know what exchange it's trading on, so I can't chart that one right now. Yeah, Johnny B, spot on. That's exactly right. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Is basically they created a really good way to get your BTC from you. That's my opinion on it. And they got a lot of it. And another problem. Okay, I'll get back into my Ripple rant here. Another huge problem I have with it is part of what I like about cryptocurrency in general is that it is a deflationary asset, or at least an anti-inflationary asset. It's got a hard cap, or not all of them, but at least Bitcoin and many of the forks. They have a hard cap. There's only going to be so many. You don't run into the issue of quantitative easing. It's a rare asset, similar to gold, similar to silver, precious metals, diamonds, et cetera, et cetera. It's a rare asset. Once it's all been mined, there will be no more, other than the possibility of forks. But we all know that forking an entire currency requires consensus on the network. So it's not like they can just everybody decide, now we're going to mine a different currency. So I don't see that as being a factor. So my biggest problem with Ripple is quantitative easing. That's my problem with the Federal Reserve. That's my problem with Ripple. The Federal Reserve can just print as much money as they want whenever they want. So, if you guys are traditional investors, and hopefully you've got an IRA or a 401k or something like that you've been putting money away into, and if not, especially if you're young, I recommend you get into doing some sort of investing sooner than later, because if you understand how compound interest works, I'm not even very good at calculating compound interest, but I understand the concept. And effectively, the sooner you get started, the more the bigger pie that you have at the end. So back to how that is relevant to what I'm ranting about is the Federal Reserve can print as many more dollars as possible. So even if I manage to save up 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, $20 million in my 401k, by the time I get there and retire and cash it all out, that money's going to be worth less because they have printed more and more dollars. So as that commodity becomes more abundant in the market, its overall value goes down. The same problem exists with Ripple. The same problem exists with any excessively pre-mined token, is that they can quantitatively ease it. So say Ripple did go up to $5, maybe it gets all the way up there, $5, $10. There's a bunch of people that are like, woo, yeah, we're balling out. Biggest problem there is then what if the Ripple organization just decides, I think they've got like 3 billion on the back burner just sitting in their back pocket, and they go, we'll just dump 1 billion more on the market. Your investment just tanks in value because they can just print more. Same problem with the Fed. It's why the dollar is consistently gone down over the last 30 years. So that's my problem with it. Anyway, all right, I'll stop ranting about that now. Let's see what else here. Yeah, lots of ums, lots of uhs. Sorry guys, first time on, just trying to make sure I got enough to talk about, and I've actually gone on longer than I thought I would by now. Somebody asking me about Lisk. Let's go take a look at Lisk. Are you asking me on my opinion on it as a project, or are you asking me on my opinion on it as to chart it? Because everything's been in a downtrend over the last couple of days. We all know that. But I can see it had a little bit of run up here. We've got inside bars here. This red candle is the wick is a little bit shy of the high here on the green candle. So it looks like we've got a fight going on between bulls and bears with these dojis. I don't know. It looks like it's in the portion of consolidation. Let's see what this shape ends up looking like here. Off the bottom of that wick. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's a pennant forming. So the question is it a bearish or bullish pennant? I would say it's probably a bearish pennant, would be my initial opinion on it, just because everything has been in a down market. And, unfortunately, as of right now, as goes Bitcoin, so goes the alt market. Like I said earlier in the stream, I have literally only been trading Bitcoin and fiat for the last probably 3 weeks, basically since Puerto Rico, which I know you guys saw us in Puerto Rico, and we're waiting for us to get back and start talking about Bitcoin again. But yeah, I've really only been trading that because, alts are wrecked right now. Nobody's interested in, other than avid crypto enthusiasts, nobody's interested in investing in alts right now. The entire market has been on a downtrend. So unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast. Is as goes Bitcoin, so goes everything else. I think as other exchanges start to introduce fiat pairs, that may change over time, but Bitcoin's dominance is extremely high right now. I think it's like 43%. Let's see here. Market cap. Oops. Oh dear, what's going on here? Sorry. Yeah, 45%. So that's reasonably strong. But again, I think as more fiat pairs get as more fiat pairs get introduced, right now Bitcoin is the gateway drug, and everything is traded against Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the name brand that everybody hears of. Like I said, when new money starts to come into the market, obviously the first thing that they hear about is Bitcoin. So obviously the first thing that they get invested in is Bitcoin. I think as interest in Bitcoin starts to run up, once we get to this next bull market, we'll see everything else take off again. But as of right now, personally, I'm not messing with anything other than, keeping a tight eye on my stop losses. I've got a few bags that I just hold because I want to hold them. They're projects that I like, which I can share with you guys on another stream. Let's see. It's almost impossible to tell whether a pennant is bearish or bullish. Yeah, that's true. I think so. I mean, I generally will decide which way a pennant is going myself just based on how the market has been going. And again, since we've been in a downtrend, I think most pennants are unfortunately going to break bearish right now. It depends. But again, going back to my initial point of how to make money in a bear market, there's been a lot of swings back and forth. There's been a lot of swings back and forth in the last few days that you could have taken pretty significant advantage of. If you look, these are all the daily. And we've been fluctuating back and forth between about $6,500, $6,800, and $7,000. We bounced off $7,000 several times, and I just can't seem to get through it, unfortunately. So, but with that said, if you know that that's been the top of the market lately, and we see it getting down here, what are we at right now? 6,500. I don't know. I personally have got some buy orders set in about. I've got 53, 55, and 57. Excuse me. And that's just because I like. I'm one of those people that. Not that I try to catch a falling knife, but occasionally I've. Made some good scalps on bounces. You'll run into whales doing stop loss hunting, and so I will look at what some of the key Feb levels are, and then set my buy orders just slightly below that, so that as whales are going in stop loss hunting, you'll end up picking up little scalps here and there, and then just watching it. And I've been scalping off and selling as it gets between 68 and 7. And just slowly increasing my portfolio. I'm certainly not a whale, but I would like to be one of these days. So in the meantime, I just try to pick up on the easy scalps. Let's see what else we got here. Gnarled and bitter. Well, hopefully not too long, or hopefully very long. I don't want to be gnarly and bitter. I like this. If this is good, then we're good. What are my biggest holdings? Okay, well, obviously my biggest bags would probably be Bitcoin, ETH, Monero, and then here. Tell you what, guys, let me pull up on my other computer, completely separate from this. Let me look at my trading accounts, and I'll tell you what I've got. I think my biggest ones really are just going to be Bitcoin, ETH, Monero. I've got a decent amount of OMG, and I do hold some Lisk. I still have a bunch of Power Ledger. We'll see how that goes. I like that token just because I like the idea, and I see a lot of use case for it, especially as that as that becomes more prominent in Southeast Asia. I think there is a lot of use case for it, or any of those banking on power type of exchanges. So anyways, I'm holding on those, but let's see. How to identify catch a dip? Well, I mean, the way that I do it is I start looking, I trade primarily on three to four indicators. So I will trade, obviously I use candles, I use volume, I use RSI, and I use MACD. So as far as how I identify a dip is I try to line them all up and see together, right? So let's and then I use different candle intervals. So primarily I look at the 4-hour. I like to look at the 4-hour because I think it gives a good idea of what the overall market is doing. So then I can start to see, do I think it's going to dip? Do I think it's going to pump? And then from there, when I'm trying to figure out what my entry or exit positions are, that's when I go in and I start looking at 15-minute candles. So see, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is you can see so much opportunity for scalps. And again, it's small. It's not huge movements, but if you're picking up 10% or less on your trades, that's I'd say don't get greedy. 10% or less is fine with me, as long as I can consistently do it. No, I will not be touching any Monero forks. I'm a XMR only. I'm not messing with any of their forks. Honestly, I don't mess with many forks. I'll take my free coins when they happen. So like when Bitcoin Cash split off happened, I had a nice bag of BTC that was sitting in an Electrum wallet, and I forked it off and immediately dumped it. So that's usually my way to go on forks. I don't know. I'm not big on forks in general. I think the majority of forks, just again my personal opinion, but I think the majority of forks are horseshit. I think they're money grabs most of the time. So if I get free coins on a fork, I'll let it sit in a bag until it gets picked up on an exchange, and generally then I go trade it for something that I actually want to hold on to. That's my opinion. Let's see. What about Litecoin? I think VTC is Vertcoin, I believe, and Digibyte. I actually just became a Digibyte holder because one of our marketing guys, Will, is the ultimate Digibyte shill, and he convinced me to pick up a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't really done enough research on it to form an opinion, but it does have really fast transaction times, which I like. My opinion on Litecoin is I'm awful sad. I'm shedding many tears. That's one of my biggest bags because I was using it to move money around between exchanges, back in December or January. So I bought a bunch of Litecoin specifically with the intent of just using it to move funds around between exchanges, so I wasn't getting eaten up in BTC transfer fees. And now I have a great big bag of it that's just sitting around because I don't want to sell at that big of a loss. So primarily I just use it still to move money around. I liked Litecoin. I'm of mixed opinion on Charlie Lee at this point. I see his perspective of selling off because he thinks it's a conflict of interest. However, as a traditional investor as well, if the CEO of Google sold all of their shares off, I would dump my Google shares immediately because that shows me that they have no confidence in their product. I personally don't think it's a conflict of interest for him to hold Litecoin. I think it shows he has skin in the game, and that matters to me. I think having an interest in your product, he can talk all he wants about that it's his baby and that he has a vested interest in it succeeding, but does he? I can say I'm a purple dinosaur, but I'm not, even though I do like the color purple. I can say whatever I want, but until my actions back that up, then who knows? And I don't really care much for his Twitter habits of jumping on and just fudding his own project. That's really what happened. Litecoin was on a tear. But well, of course, obviously the whole market was on a tear, but Litecoin was definitely on a tear. And then Charlie came out and said, be prepared for it to go to $3. And if you don't think it should be, if you're not ready for that, then you should sell it all now. And everybody listened. And here we have, what are we at? Like 100. Let's just take a look at where Litecoin is right now. I think it's like 115 when I looked at it. 113. Yeah. So, when I acquired a healthy bag of it, up a little bit higher, and was just holding on to it. Should have. That's, This is what I say, guys. Get in and learn early, right? Like, get in and learn the lessons about, like, don't hold a bag when it's still cheap before you have a huge portfolio. Get in and learn the lessons about don't chase a parabolic run. Don't FOMO into a coin while it's still cheap. Learn the lessons of don't follow a John McAfee pump. There's a lot to learn. If you want to learn to trade, there's a lot to learn. Different indicators that you can use. I would just stick to the fundamentals, but there's a lot to learn. But learn them cheap. Learn the lessons cheap. Learn to trade with smaller percentages of your portfolio. If you only had $100 to get in on, make these lessons happen at the $25 or under level, because even though that's only 25%, that is 25% of your portfolio when it's $100, it's going to hurt a lot less to lose $25 than once you turn that $100 into $100,000 and you're losing $25,000 because you FOMO'd in on a project, or you didn't do your research on a shit coin and you sent them all your ETH, or you got suckered on a hack. Somebody got an ICO got hacked and decides to send ETH to this address and we'll let you in on the private sale. Like, just use your common sense. Like, we know that the SEC has banned Americans from investing in most ICOs. So if your favorite project that you got on the mailing list for sends you an email and says, all right, we opened it up to Americans, maybe look more than one place, or just don't immediately send your funds to that address. So anyway, my main point is get in and learn cheap. Learn while it's cheap, so you don't have to make the mistakes when it's expensive. And a great place to learn. And here I go. I'm gonna ultra shill. A great place to learn is this channel. Obviously, I've learned so much. I used to watch this channel before I was on this channel. I've learned a lot from this channel, and then specifically as a member of the Cryptosomniac Advantage, I have learned so much. There's two guys in there, Jordan and Amal, that are just super savvy traders, very educated opinions, and I've learned quite a lot just from interacting with them, which makes me feel better about my own technical analysis. So I'm decent at it, but it's good to have support from people that are excellent at it to help confirm my ideas and my opinions. All right. Well, Cyber Kenobi, it's, who knows, man. It's, like I said, there's still money to be made on the swings. Are you a trader? There's always money to be made, and you should not let your emotions, just because I hate Ripple doesn't mean I might not trade on it again if I see an opportunity, because I love money. And I think that's what we're all doing here for, is, I like money because money is options and money is freedom. If I have money, then I have a lot more capability in the world. So that's really what I'm after, is just to have more freedom. Cyber Kenobi, ERC20 tokens added to GDAX. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe could be a big pump. I mean, if they get on there for trading, then yes. But as everybody knows, buy the rumors, sell the news. So if you know of any specific ERC20 token that is getting added to GDAX, stock up your bags now, because by the time it gets announced that it's getting added, it's going to dump, as we all know. So that's my opinion on that without doing more research into it. Let's see. Go to $5. It was hard to believe. Johnny B, just to clarify, I don't think Ripple could go to $5. I was just using that as an example. Is if Ripple went to $5, people would be very excited about it. I wasn't saying that I think it could go to $5. I don't think it could go to $5, and especially with the amount of XRP that they have sitting on the back burner that they can dump on the market. I think as soon as it gets up to a number higher than the Ripple organization is comfortable with it being at, that they will quantitatively ease, which is the same problem you have with the Fed. But I should stop ranting about it. Anyway, wow. Okay, so I have definitely gone through an hour now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But guys, if you share on Twitter if you share on Facebook, share retweet on Twitter, and on YouTube, comment with your ERC20 token address. We are giving away some free crypto. I'm still a rook on that, so I'm not going to give away any today. But if you put that on there when I get on my next stream, which will be probably Monday, I will give away some free crypto. So comment and like and share. And I really appreciate you guys spending time with me today. Yeah, thanks. If you like the new guy, if you like the FNG, then you could also follow me on Twitter. I just set up my own crypto Twitter. It's at Cryptosomniac. That's SINEWAVE. Because I also make music. So we'll get into more about that later. I didn't come in here to shill my side hustle. But yeah, Cryptosomniac if you want to follow me on Twitter and see what other interesting tidbits I come up with. And we'll go from there. Anyways, all right, guys, thanks again. Happy Friday. I hope my opinions have been insightful today and helped you make some more good decisions. Again, one more time, I'll show this free 14-day trial to the Cryptosomniac Advantage. Go sign up. What have you got to lose? You get Advantage. You get all the reports. You get access to the entire team, myself included. Me, Sam, Snay, all of our TAs, all of our people that are researching, so you can actually interact with the team directly. What have you got to lose? Try it for 14 days. We all think it's definitely worth the money. Head on over to cryptosomniac.com. Again, I'll just illustrate this. Well, I don't know how to move the chat. Great. I'll just move the whole website. Yeah, here we go. Of course. Good Lord. So, cryptosomniac.com, and then right here to claim your Advantage membership. So 14 days free, sign up, let's do it. Everybody have a great weekend, and don't get wrecked. Make some money on the scalps. We'll see you then. Later, guys.